Hello and welcome back, Texans. It's so good to see all of our faculty, staff, and students here at our main campus in Stephenville, and also all of our extended campuses, certainly in Fort Worth, Waco, Midlothian, and Rellis. So thank you for once again entrusting your endeavor to pursue a higher educational degree here at Tarleton State. I'm excited to make a few announcements today. As some of you read last week, we are experiencing a record enrollment. We eclipsed 14,000 on day one, and we are still above 14,000 today. And so we're really excited about the future and where we're going, certainly with enrollment, et cetera. I also want to talk a little bit about our incoming freshman class. You heard Dr. Garza speak of the freshman class last week. We have the largest, most diverse, and one of our most educationally prepared classes coming into Tarleton. So class of 2024, we're very proud to host you, and we're glad that you now call Tarleton home. Let me start by saying a big thank you to everyone that is properly adhering to our university protocols and procedures that align with federal, state, and local COVID-19 guidelines. It's really important that we continue to be the trendsetter and we continue to be the pace setter, if you will, for COVID-related activities, and meaning that we're doing our part to stand together to help combat this novel virus. And as we all know, it's still here. And 6+ months ago, in the second or third week of March, when we had to move to online, I think many of us thought that we would have eradicated this virus at this point, but it's still here. We're still navigating through it, and you're doing an excellent job. Most, certainly not all, but most, are doing an outstanding job of certainly wearing your face coverings, maintaining physical distancing. Those are really, really important. And for those of you that are a little reluctant to come alongside, we need you to. More than ever, we need to stand united as Texans as we continue to navigate these uncharted waters. Let me also remind you that we do offer free testing for our faculty, staff, and students. For those students that do not have a primary care health provider or insurance, please make sure you reach out to our wellness center here on campus. Reach out to Kent Styron in compliance and risk. Let someone know, Dr. Kelly Styron and Student Affairs, if you are experiencing symptoms and you think that you have contracted COVID-19, it's really, really important for us to get you the proper care that you need. And that starts with testing. It also leads into contact tracing. We want to let those individuals know that may have been in contact with you or this virus. We want to make sure that we get them the assistance that they need as well. You can also find all of the up-to-date information on our roadmap website, Fall 2020. It is the main site for all COVID-19 related information. So all updates, news, enhancements to the website, any new regulation or policy that's been put into place by the governor or the federal government or a system, it's really important that you stay up to speed to those postings and that information. So all of that will be posted. I am fortunate to be joined today by two of our outstanding leaders on campus. To my right is Mr. Lonn Reisman. He's our Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics and Director of Athletics. To my left is our Student SGA President, Mr. Cahlen Cheatham, but he also is serving in a dual capacity this year. He also has been selected by Governor Abbott and Chancellor Sharp to serve as our Board of Regent, and he represents all students across the 11 institutions in the A&M system. And so we can't be more proud of the work not only that Cahlen's doing here at Tarleton, but also for the system, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Mr. Reisman, I'd like to start with you. A lot has happened here at Tarleton. I think part of the excitement and growth around the institution was certainly our conversion to Division I. And could you talk to us a little bit about what the spinoff of that announcement that we made last year, the momentum, the excitement around the athletic department in particular, our transition to Division I?
Yes, Dr. Hurley, I think, all of our students on campus are extremely excited about our move to Division I. I can't tell you how many have come up to me and Coach, who are we playing, and what's the schedules like? And when you tell them that we're going to go into the Metroplex and play TCU, we're going to play Texas Tech in a few years, we're going to play Texas A&M down the road here, our basketball team, UCLA, Gonzaga, Texas A&M in men's basketball, and then our women are playing Brigham Young. Those are schools that we have never been able to reach out and play, and they bring us such a big media blitz for our university and for the athletic department and for our general student population right here, because they're excited about watching games of this caliber. And so it's been joining the WAC has been a big positive for our student athletes and for our campus and our students. They're extremely excited. I had one come up to me a couple weeks ago and said, "I just saw us on Channel 4. I've seen us on Channel 5. My brother actually lives in North Carolina. He's driving his automobile last week and he's listened to a radio show and they said Tarleton State going to the WAC conference." And so it's been a great time for our students, and our students are such a pivotal to our success as we go into Division I, and we really appreciate our student body and the backing they gave us as we made this historical move.
So, quick question: what does it do for those alumni that graduated from the institution, be it 50 years ago or even last year, and even though they did not graduate from Tarleton when they were Division I, that degree worth is now elevated for all students, not just our current students, but the alumni as well. And I've had so many people that are part of our alumni family reach out and talk about the significance. What does this do for the value of that degree?
No doubt. I mean, I've had many phone calls from our former student athletes, our alums, and they'll call and say, "Now, I did graduate from a Division I university now." I said, "Absolutely. I mean, you get that aura, you get that, you get the same thing that a graduate gets from TCU or SMU or North Texas. You have that visibility now of us being at a Division I university that carries a Division I diploma with you. And you being an alumni, whether you're just you were a student here or you're a student athlete, you were a big part of our success to make the jump to Division I because of what you contributed to this university through the years. So absolutely, you are a Division I student alumni here.
Right.
Absolutely.
Due to COVID-19, and we're seeing this all across the country, so many institutions and universities have had to shift and remain uber flexible in terms of instructional delivery, how we service students with certain amenities, etc. Part of that is our athletic program, and the NCAA last week, I think, made the decision to postpone all fall championships into the spring. Of course, that affected football, volleyball, men's and women's cross country, if I'm forgetting a fall sport. Tell us what you're doing to prepare for the spring. And a lot of the students that have reached out, the main question is, are we going to have tailgating, and are we having football in the spring? So can you address some of that, Lonn?
I think we're excited. We have, and the word is postponed. We have not canceled anything. We are looking forward to moving everything into the spring. There's 14 FCS conferences in the country, including the one that we're in, which we're an independent, and the WAC. Yes, we're going to move everything to the spring. We're going to have football in the spring. We're going to have tailgating in the spring. We want our students to be able to engage in the activities that they have always engaged with in the fall. We're working hard in the WAC right now to develop our schedules. We're working on a football schedule right now. And so we just want our student athletes and our student body to, I was interviewed by The Athletic on the Division I ticker the other day, and I said, we are going to be positive. We look forward to the spring. We look forward to the spring on, for our students to be engaged in our athletics again. And we're looking forward to our student athletes competing again, and we're looking forward to our alumni and boosters to be a part of a spring that's going to bring a lot of positive morale. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody come back to campus again and enjoying it's a little different, but we're going to absolutely enjoy the positive aspect of playing sports again in the spring.
Part of that, obviously, our students support our athletics through their athletic fee. And I had a senior that posed a very fair question, and I addressed a question with you, and you came up with, I think, more than a fair solution, and to include those students that may be graduating in December. They're no longer per se students,
Right.
but they've been such a huge part in enabling us to make this transition. What are you planning on offering to those senior students that graduate for all of these spring activities?
Right. Since we postponed fall sports and they graduate in December, we are going to honor their student ID in the spring. They will be able to attend any athletic events in the spring with their ID from the fall. They are a big part of this, and we want them to understand that we appreciate what they've done in the past and supporting us, and we want to support them. So if you're a senior and you're graduating in December, just know that your student ID will get you into all athletic events this spring.
Great. That's good. That's good news, and that's the right thing to do, Lonn. And I think Tarleton has been an institution for forever, right? For
Yes, sir.
120 plus years of doing the right thing by our students. COVID-19 testing, I think that Chris Reisman, our assistant athletic director, has done a phenomenal job. I tasked him very early, as you did, in creating a pathway for our student athletes to return to campus in a safe manner.
Yes, sir.
Can you share some of the statistics that are important for our community to know, that the number of tests that we've had, the number of positive tests, how many active tests
Sure,
that are positive, et cetera?
You know, Chris put a lot of protocols in, and I do want to, I'm proud of our coaches and our student athletes because they have followed the protocols this summer. This summer alone, we did 597 tests, and we only had 19 positive tests.
Wow.
As we brought all of our...
That's what, less than 2-3%?
2%, yes.
2%, yeah.
And then if you look at our student athletes that were not here this summer, we have brought them all back on campus this last week. And we did retest our football team again, so we had 305 tests coming in, and then the cheerleaders came in, the cross country, track, dance, tennis, softball. We did 305 tests and we only had 9 positives.
Wow.
And so we've tested our student athletes in the protocol that we've established here 902 times, and we've had a 2% positive.
So
all
clearly,
year.
student athletes are being tested multiple times.
Absolutely.
They have access to testing.
Yes.
So do our coaches and support staff as well.
We have
correct?
actually tested our support staff. Our athletic staff's been tested 128 times this summer.
Along with coaches,
Along
right?
with coaches, yes.
Perfect.
Yes, coaches. That's coaches and staff. So we've created a bubble here, Dr. Hurley, that we really feel that our student athletes and our coaches and our staff has done a tremendous job of adhering to all the protocols that we put in place for COVID-19.
That's excellent. And so if a student athlete tests, how many active cases again? We have 9?
We have 9 active cases right now.
So those students are isolated.
They're isolated.
And then they will have the opportunity to retest.
Yes, sir.
And then re-enter their practice realm.
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
perfect. Well, I want to commend you and the entire athletic program for doing an outstanding job. If listening to those numbers and seeing the numbers of other institutions, very large R1 institutions, Power 5 institutions that have greater resources than Tarleton, although we're blessed to be in the A&M system that has provided unbelievable support. I can't say enough about Chancellor Sharp and his team, and Greg Hartman. He was on, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago sharing some information. They have been phenomenal to work with, and I know that you're working very closely with them to ensure that I know you and Ross, at the athletic director at A&M, have worked closely in keeping system-wide protocols and procedures very consistent across each institution. So thanks for your leadership. Thanks to Eric and Chris and the team around you, all the coaches, for doing an outstanding job.
Yes, and I want to compliment our trainers too. Our trainers have done a tremendous job in making this a very successful summer for our student athletes.
Well said. Cahlen?
Good morning, sir.
Tell us about what's going on over in SGA, and let me start by saying thank you for stepping up to the leadership mantle. Thank you for representing us so well at your very first Regents meeting this past week. I mean, what a time to come into leadership during the midst of a global pandemic and a health crisis unlike we've ever seen. You're doing an excellent job. We're thankful for you. I don't have to tell you, you're following, you have big shoes to fill, Tyler did an outstanding job last year. You're going to do an outstanding job continuing that legacy. And we're so fortunate. You have someone like Casey Hogan that works here, that I think he was two-term SGA president. Tyler's still in the system. She's moved on to her master's degree at the Bush School. And so you have good people to lean upon. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now. In specific, let's start with Tarleton, and then I will shift to the system.
Sure. Well, thank you, President Hurley, for having me, and good morning, everybody. Specific to Tarleton, whenever we were first, our administration was first elected in student government, we wanted to ensure that we created opportunities, honored traditions, and served others. And while we have had exciting times since we were elected, that mantra has not changed. And like many others, our priorities have shifted to accommodate COVID. Our first priorities are still there. But first things first, we want to make sure students not only have an opportunity to learn at Tarleton, but we also want them to have opportunities to have fun and in a safe atmosphere in the best ability that we can support. But something that I can commend the administration on and Tarleton's leadership team and A&M and the Texas A&M system leadership team is ensuring students have a voice at every leadership decision-making table at Tarleton. I'm very proud to be a Texan and to know that our students are represented at every turn or turn of events. And President Hurley, you know that if an event happens or something comes up, you pick up the phone and you call your people, but you'll also call students and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? Are we doing the right thing? And being student focused is something that I'm so proud of at Tarleton, and can't thank you enough for that.
Thank you. So let's talk about. Tell me about your leadership team, because as you know, you heard Mr. Reisman, our VP for Athletics, talk about his team and how important it's been for him to depend upon his team. Can you talk a little bit about the structure of what the SGA leadership team looks like, and then some individuals that may be serving in those roles now, and then how will you utilize that team to ensure that you can't be everywhere, right? Just as we can't be everywhere, you have to depend on your team. Talk about that just for a moment.
Absolutely. We have a phenomenal leadership team in SGA who are elected and appointed by students. So students choose their leaders. If you're tired of us, you can get rid of us. So that's something unique about student government.
Democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
But one of the greatest things is we have a three-branch student government like the federal government. We have a Congress, which is our legislative body. Yep. They are elected by the students to consider legislation. We have an executive branch who is appointed by the student body president and the vice president, who is our administrators of the student government. And then we have the judicial branch, which ensures that students are acting and that student government is acting in the best interest of the students.
Great.
Our executive leadership team is comprised of myself, Vice President Emily Love, our Chief of Staff Athena Orsa, and then we have 9 other individuals who selflessly serve throughout the year, most of which don't receive any benefits and are just honored to be Texans, and we're very thankful for their selfless service.
Great. And so how, if a student or a parent is watching this live cast, or they watch the delayed version posted later, and they have not only a concern, but they have a recommendation or a comment. Some of the best work comes from students, right? And some of the greatest ideas at a university comes from the novel idea of let's include students. And we're getting ready to embark upon our 10-year strategic plan, and it was important for me to have faculty representation, staff representation, but also a student. And some institutions, we make decisions for students as adults, not always considering the thoughts of you. And so it's important that we have each of those bodies represented equally as important our students. Sure. So how can they get in touch with you? What's the process going to be like? This year we have to limit, obviously, public gatherings and spaces. How can they bring forth an idea or thought or complaint?
You bet. One of the things that I advocate for is contacting our student legislators, our Congress people, so that we can discuss it as a body. And I don't want it to be my leadership style and my team's leadership style. We're not a top-down group. Right. We're a grassroots organization. Right. That starts from the bottom and works its way up. And I think that's something that Tarleton's leadership team does. We always have the focus of students at the forefront of our agenda. And so I encourage parents, students with an issue to contact our student Congress online. We're very available online on the Tarleton website. Also on social media.
Okay.
If you have an issue, you can bring it straight to the executive team of SGA, and we'll get it to a congressperson usually, so that can come up through the proper channels, and that our executive team can properly implement that item.
So a quick question, where is your office located for those students that may just want to come and visit and spend some time with you?
You bet. My in-person office is in the Student Center. I don't remember the room, but it's near the Chick-fil-A location.
Okay.
And so our doors are always open, our phones are always on, and we're always ready to listen.
Nice. Let's shift to your new role.
Sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think we've only had 2 in the history of Tarleton to represent Tarleton State on the Board of Regents. Huge accomplishment, well deserved. I can't think of a better person, a better leader for these times to be representing all students, because I do think not only do you value your place and purpose here at Tarleton, but you value your place and purpose in the Texas A&M system. Let's talk about how you plan on representing now what, I don't know the number, but I'm guessing hundreds of thousands of students across the system, and not only traditional learners, but adult learners. How will you address this?
Sure. I think realizing first is while I am a Tarleton Texan, I now represent the hundreds of thousands of students we have in our system. And I think first and foremost, I'm required, or I believe that I need to visit each institution and get to know the student body across our campus, across our system, because what may be good for students at Tarleton might not be good for students at Texas A&M, College Station, Prairie View A&M, Commerce. And so traveling, being in touch virtually now with their student leaders and their students is something that I value, and understanding the diversity that we have in our system.
How do students across the system, what is their mechanism of being able to bring forth, again, a thought, an idea, a suggestion, a complaint, etc.?
Sure. So Student Regent's very visible on social media. Our position is on the website of Texas A&M system. We participate in various councils across the system, whether that's the Chancellor Student Advisory Council that advises Chancellor Sharp, or any other involvements that a university's administration may want to talk to the board for. The Student Regent is a direct line to the Board of Regents, and we can not only represent them, but also bring issues forth to them and say, this is what the students think. This is what our stakeholders are thinking. So you can email. I'm very, very lenient on who I give business cards to, just because I want to be a servant of the people and make sure that I'm best representing our stakeholders.
Absolutely. So as administrators and faculty and staff that are watching, I guess I've got 2 questions to conclude with. The first, do you feel, and I want you to be honest, we need to know, do you feel like that Tarleton has done enough to prepare with the circumstance that we have before us? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like that our faculty and staff are being safe and protected? Is there something that we can do more in that realm?
I think unequivocally, yes. I was just in College Station last week, and that was my first time visiting in a while, and first time ever visiting with COVID. And seeing how we are different from College Station, I was just very thankful to see how connected our faculty, staff, and students are to our leadership team.
Right.
You and your administration, and that's something that I think is paramount to safety, is being in good communication with the people that you are around.
Right.
And we have taken extreme measures. We are asking our students and our faculty and community to practice social distancing and follow CDC guidelines. But we're also being safe in regards to mental health and giving students and our stakeholders opportunities to have fun, not only isolate alone at home. And so I think that's something that people don't consider, is the not only the health effects of COVID, but also the economic and the social aspects as well.
Right. So at the end of the day, this is a tough question. I'm often asked this same question, so I'm going to put the onus on you. At the end of your leadership here as their SGA president, and this is 2-part, and your leader as the student regent for the A&M system, what do you want your legacy to be remembered as?
Sure. I think at Tarleton, we have talked before, there will never be another time like this in Tarleton's history with us going Division I. It's a premier time to enhance things and to take us into the next level. Not only is athletics going Division I, but student government's going Division I, academics is going Division I, which we've all talked about.
Right.
And as a legacy, as a student government association leader, we want to set the groundwork and the foundation for the next 100 years in Tarleton's legacy.
Right.
And so implement proper administrative practices, build relationships with not only students and student organizations, but faculty, staff, and that stirred all stakeholders to create employment, financial, philanthropic opportunities and leadership opportunities for students, and ultimately inspire a service attitude, which past administrations have been great at doing, but take that to the next level and just make sure that student government is known around campus and known that we can solve issues and properly serve our students.
Great. Well, we appreciate your leadership. As you can see, I've closed out this session by putting my mask on, and it's important that all of us do our part. Lonn, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the 30 plus years of service to this institution. And I say that because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take all of us uniting as Texans. I just sent out an email to all students, and I was somewhat disappointed to hear of some activities that occurred off campus this weekend. And let me start by saying we have to be smarter. We have to be selfless, not selfish during this time. And we've worked really hard as an administration, as a faculty, as staff, as a university, as a system, to bring us back collectively together to move forward with somewhat of a normal, and I know it's a new normal for now, but a normal college year, and certainly a fall semester unlike any other. These are imperative. They're important. They keep you safe. They keep those around you safe. It is important for you to physically distance. And we have to think about those things. We have to think about putting the greater community at risk. And I think you would agree that we've went above and beyond over the last, call it 6 to 7 months, to do things like have face-to-face commencement. We had duck camps. We had orientations. All of those encounters were face-to-face. And we did so because we had confidence in our people and our leaders and our students to be able to do the things that are important. And we adhered in an awesome way. I'm asking our students more than ever, I need you to rally around the institution and do what's right. Again, I need you to be selfless. I need you to be smart. I need you to be a Texan. This too will pass. And I know these times are not fun, but it is important that we continue to do what we can to mitigate the spread of this dreadful virus. We're still in this pandemic. We will get through it. We're going to get through it because of you. So Godspeed, Texans. We will see you again next week. Thanks for joining. Again, be selfless, be smart, be a Texan.